Digital signal processors are one of the most critical components in creating a realistic listening experience in any mobile audio system. And although DSP has been around for some time, there are still many dealers and installers who haven't necessarily fully embraced DSP yet. Tonight, we've invited some of the top DSP training and calibration experts in the industry to share with us the latest DSP innovations and offerings. They're here to help better explain what DSP does and why right now is the best time to make DSP a priority. CMA Live, presented by SiriusXM, the DSP episode Part 1 starts now.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM, with even more exclusive content, like over 140 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm your host Ben Wu, and welcome to another episode of CMA Live presented by SiriusXM. So, when it comes to DSP, there are many brands that offer different solutions and platforms. That's why for season 2 of CMA Live, we've decided to expand DSP into 2 different episodes. The second one that'll be airing a little later on this year. With so many choices available, it can quickly become confusing to sort through which brand or setup may be the best for the job at hand. Standalone processors or DSP integrated amplifiers? Is DSP only meant for cars, or could there be other applications? And how complicated is the user interface for the tuning side of things? And what are the best choices for the novice tuner versus the advanced technician? These and many more questions will be answered tonight, starting with our very first guest. This brand has been in the game for, well, pretty much as long as car audio has been around. You've seen their logo, which surprisingly hasn't changed much. I mean, they have different variations of it, but it's certainly very recognizable. And they've engineered and designed some key pieces throughout the timeline that have stood the test of time. But more recently, they've come up with a great array and assortment of DSP products, either standalone and integrated into amplifiers, that we want to get into tonight. Joining us from audio control all the way from Seattle is their director of mobile audio, Chris Bennett.
Hey,
Chris, welcome
what's
to CMA
happening?
Live.
Thank you.
I had to start the show with you, man.
Let's talk about DSP, baby.
DSP, yes, sir. Audio control, man. It's like one of those brands that have just been there, innovating, engineering, consistently, constantly coming up with new stuff, pushing the envelope. Especially this last. We've had some pretty big announcements and some pretty big breakthroughs. But before we get into the specifics, maybe we could start with why audio control and the DSP episode. You're our very first guest. I'm going to let you lay down the groundwork.
Man, I appreciate it. One of the things that it's such a privilege representing audio control is that when we think about DSP and how important and relevant it is, you can go back 20 years and we would put in, I remember people bringing cars into my store 20 years ago and they would have 5 or 6 or 10 audio control pieces, electronic crossovers and an ESP2 and all this stuff. And basically they were very challenging. A lot of guys have hindrances with DSP today, but we had those same hindrances when we had 7 or 8 audio control pieces in a car and we didn't know how to tune which knob to turn when or how. It's kind of the same with DSP, all those 8 or 9 or 10 audio control pieces, electronic crossovers, EQ, all kinds of different stuff are all put into one package today. So what might have taken 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 pieces Today, it's all one piece. You can do everything that we could have done 15, 20, 30 years ago with tons of different electronics. Like a massive mixing board for somebody who does mixing or anything like that. Well, we wrapped it all up and we have it packaged into a smaller package, one piece that can do whatever you choose, whatever manufacturer decides, dictates, and that's really DSP in a nutshell. And when we talk about why audio control, well, because we have been doing it for 43 years, and the evolution of what's been accomplished for audio control in just the last 5 years. We got into the DSP processors just starting 5 years ago. Today we have 5 different products, 2 standalones, 3 DSP amplifiers. It's kind of opened the gateway to more DSP products, or Bluetooth modules and stuff like that work with it. Also working with other partners for integration solutions. Lots of stuff going on. And, on top of all that stuff, Ben, why audio control? Because we do it all here in Seattle, Washington. We're really focused on supporting everybody. It was a week and a half. I just went in the office yesterday. I show up and there's 3 new people working in our office just because the demands are growing so much for our support and our network and how we deal and help the guys who are in the time alignment, and so we're building. That's why audio control, because we're there for you. We've been there for you. We're not going anywhere. We got more product coming for you, made in the USA, and I think the best warranty out there. Audio control still remains what it set out foundationally 40 years ago to do, was offer a great product for a great price with the best support and the best warranty available.
Canada, of course, distribute exclusively through Gemsen distribution, and that warranty, of course, upheld it as if it was in the U.S. So there's no questions there. But what we're talking to our Canadian dealers and any other dealer tuning in. What can dealers expect from audio control in the future in the realm of DSP?
Well, when you think about, Ben, what we've done in the last 5 years, it started out we had standalone DSPs, but we knew where we wanted to go, and this whole product game plan that we have is all part of a big plan of the evolution of where we're going as a company to remain in the forefront of technology. So we have stuff that's built onto these products, and now basically in 5 years, 5 different products. You will see from audio control continued evolution of DSP and how we're going to work through it and how we're going to evolve and get better and better. We'll talk a little bit about one of our key products that just released here, but even a product that's been in the marketplace. This is just a great example of what our dealers can expect from us. A relatively new DSP amplifier, our D4800. Just a year ago, we made a major change to that to add what we call our option port, so that guys can use it for our ACBT24 Bluetooth streamer, Bluetooth programming, wireless programming. That's the kind of stuff that you would expect from a quality U.S. manufacturer doing things. And that's what I hope all of our dealers know they can expect from us for the future, is a continued evolution of product, great product that only gets better.
And not only that, you seem to be doing it at quite an efficient rate of introducing new product, updating your technology, your software, your firmware, the way that you can control the DSPs and so on and so forth. And then you drop something, I'm just going to go for it because it's been a hot topic. We've been talking about it for, I guess, 2-3 months now, and that is the new 5-channel integrated amplifier with DSP.
It's such a cool piece. We talked about it, and so many people, many of the guys watching tonight have all been around and seen, and I've talked about this amplifier for a long time. And you know what? Sometimes it takes a while, but in hindsight, we look back and go, wow, look at what's happened. And that amplifier particularly is a simplified design. It's truly unique in that I do believe it might be the only 8x7 DSP in the marketplace today, which is a really unique configuration. And so it's a 5-channel amplifier that has solid power. With all of our DSP amplifiers and our LC amplifiers, you can be assured at the price point we're generally going to be delivering somewhere around 25 to 35% more power output. And that's a huge advantage. But then when you talk DSP, well, with lots of power comes lots of responsibility. And if you want to be responsible for that power you have, you better be using that DSP to get the most out of it. That's really the really important part. So, when you're buying something like a DSP amplifier, and my goodness, everybody that gets a chance to watch this, thank you guys. Our DSP amplifiers are just continue to grow and do amazing things. And there's enough guys out there over the last 4 or 5 years who have had enough experience interacting with stuff. They're getting these 5 channels now, and they're used to the interface. They're used to getting in and being able to plug in and do stuff and get through a real nice, solid, basic system and make it sound better than ever before, or they would have to use, 5 or 10 different products in the old days to even get anywhere close to the same kind of sound quality output.
You take a look at that 5-channel, and it's like, wow, how far amplification solutions has become. It's not even a big footprint, so it fits so many locations, but also it solves a lot of interesting scenarios. So, and if that's where audio control is going with it, I'm pretty excited to see what your next release is. I'm not going to bug you about it today. Maybe in a future episode, I might be able to, crank you a little bit about it. But what about the software side of things? What about updates? And I'm asking on behalf of dealers now, because they're going to watch tonight. They're going to look at these brands, and these are things they want to know about.
As far as upgrades, not only do we constantly do hardware upgrades, like adding, the option port for the Bluetooth. But, what you can expect from us is we recently partnered with Amazon Web Services so that all of our stuff is in the cloud now. So when we do updates, you're going to be able to be told that, hey, you're out of whack. That has been probably one of the biggest things that's plagued every single DSP on the market, is that guys have something called a computer. They have something that maybe they're interfacing with it, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or something else. There's a lot of stuff going on there. There's a ton of information traveling back and forth. And, the hardware inside a DSP can be the best, most robust in the world, but if there's a driver bad in their computer, or there's something else going on with software, or that's always what's plagued DSP and why guys have shied away from it. When we did our software suite, we wanted to have a DSP that guys could get into and understand and work through logically. I'd never ever call it a DSP Lite, because when we talk DSP, there's DSP and there's DSP. It's based all on the same kind of chipsets and hardware across the board. Sure, there's differences and variances and stuff like that, but the biggest part of interaction with that is the software side of it. So we created a suite that we wanted to have everybody be able to get in, understand, and you know what? I think we did a pretty dang good job, and we accomplished that. What was difficult was the software, firmware, connecting, all that stuff. And when you look at all the brands that have been doing DSPs for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that's always been something that's hung up. And I think the Amazon Web Services solution that we have now, so if anybody out there has any of our software that is pre 1.3.44, once you get that 1.3.44 software, and when you open up your software on your laptop, your Mac, your PC, your phone, it connects to Amazon Web Services and will say, hey, you have old software, you need to update this, or hey, you have old firmware, you need to update it. And so with that change, that just happened, I don't know, 5 or 6 months ago. But already we are seeing so many more guys connecting and having great connection speeds and just being able to get in and not worry about the stuff that's always been a challenge. The 25 or 30 different knobs when you had different product all over the place and you don't know which one to turn or how to turn it or when to turn it. Well, all that stuff I think is getting better and better and better. We have better trainers throughout the industry. We have better hands-on. We've all learned more about video and video training and content and logging in and being able to help people. And I just think it's getting better and better. And DSP is something that is here to stay. It's only going to get better. And you know what, you guys? I don't know if you've heard or not, but there might be one or two kind of product shortages going on in the world right now. Trunk forward selling with DSP is your only way to find success with high ticket things. High ticket, quality audio output can happen. You go to put a good preamp solution, or even if you're going high level input and you have the right DSP, you're going to have amazing results that are better than anything you've had.
That message is so loud and clear, and I think it resonates with a lot of dealers who are listening today, especially with everything that's going on. I think you really connected the dots here. I want to ask you a question from my side of things. What is Audio Control's brand philosophy now when it comes to DSP as an integral part of the modern mobile audio system? What message do you have for dealers who may still be thinking, I don't know, DSP?
Well, it's part of the evolution, DSP has become so much more relevant. When you look back at 2003, and it started with chime module or climate control modules, and then the ability for the OE to do dynamic equalization and all kinds of stuff that goes on in a car. If you want to have great results, you're going to have to evolve with us as an industry. If you look at DSP as a whole. Audio Control had DSP 15 years ago. I, as a dealer, had DSP in my car 22 years ago. And our philosophy is to continue the evolution of audio-controlled DSP products to make them better, easier to use, and constantly evolving to better it for our industry. The other huge part, this is absolutely paramount to our industry, is our focus on training and our focus on being out there. I think we're probably the only company that has pretty much, I kind of am a director, but we don't have a whole lot of trainers. We don't have a whole lot of stuff. Now it's me and Matthew out there telling this story to all of our dealers about why DSP and how DSP and helping guys learn the foundational aspects of audio. Because you know what? It takes a knowledge of the foundations to do DSP. Let's not kid ourselves. You just can't get in there and make this up. So it's up to all of us to come together to learn, to grow, and understand the foundations of audio, period. And the means to do that is DSP.
First of all, shout out to Matt Palumbo. Hope you're watching, buddy. Thank you. I like that you mentioned him. We spent some good time with some audio control training. And the last thing before I let you go, I think it's important that we mention in the top of the segment, I said audio control's been around for a minute, and they've had some products that have stood the test of time. Epicenter, my friend. Talk to me about the Epicenter real quick before I let you go.
Oh, man. We are so excited. We have something huge and amazing coming up. Our plan is in the next 60 days to manufacture our 1 millionth Epicenter product. 1 million.
1 million.
Yeah. It really, honestly, I do believe it's probably the best-selling car audio processor of all time. It just kind of goes to reiterate. And it's a true testament to audio control when you look at our products and what we're doing. You asked about our philosophy. Our philosophy is to make products that will challenge and test the elements of time and be relevant for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. We're not a company that is interested in making a product and revamping it in 2 years, putting it in a new shell or anything like that. No, we want to make a product and we will evolve that product till it's the best in the category. The Epicenter is no different. So before I wrap up on DSP stuff, the Epicenter, guys, we have something really special coming up. We're doing a 5,000-piece limited edition run. They will be independently numbered, serialized. We're going to have a nice little certificate of authenticity. We're super proud, and we can't thank you guys all enough for just the support over the last 43 years and helping audio control remain a staple in the 12-volt industry.
Well, here's to the next million epicenters. How's that?
No, the next million DSP products.
Oh, DSP products. Hey, if you're interested in an audio control product, I want to remind everybody, make sure you contact Gemsen in Canada. They are the exclusive distributor for audio control. And I want to thank Chris and everybody at Audio Control for joining us tonight and sharing with us your wisdom.
All right, thanks, everybody.
I love Chris. Awesome. So that was Audio Control. Lots of great guests to go. Our next guest is a representative of a brand from Germany, no less, that has really made some headway. I mean, they have stuff that is turning heads, that is getting installed. It provides solutions. That brand is Audio Tech Fisher. Now, Audio Tech Fisher breaks out into a couple different brands, and we'll let this gentleman kind of break that down, and we'll get to know a little bit more. But I'm dying to hear what Larry Penn from MSC has to say about Audio Tech Fisher. Let's go ahead and invite Larry back. Mr. Penn.
Hey, Ben, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. It looks like you're on the road, sir, doing what you do best.
Got the fireplace behind me, warming up. It's only 29 degrees here in Camrose, Alberta today. We're here with Lance and the team at Camrose AVU. We're happy they're coming on board as one of our new dealers. So Chris and I are out on the road doing some training, and that's our passion. That's what we love to do. And Lance kind of summed it up for me perfectly today. He said, you guys just make car audio fun again. And Lance has been around a long time. We've known each other for a very long time. And that's our goal.
All right. Well, listen, Audio Tech Fisher, for some dealers might be hearing that brand for the first time. I've certainly had the luxury of getting some personal training from you all about it, but I want to tell everybody about it. Why don't you give us a quick one? Audio Tech Fisher, what's the brand about and where's it from?
Sure. So as you mentioned, we're based out of Germany, Schmallenberg, to be totally honest, right next to the best sock factory in Europe is right next door to us. I don't know why I said that, but Chris seemed to be enamored with the sock factory, so I thought I'd bring that in. And one of the unique things, because those of you who know me, I've visited a lot of factories and I've been around for a while in this field. And one of the things that really impressed me, especially when it comes to DSP, because I've been involved with DSP for many, many years, 15, 16 years. And one of the struggles with every manufacturer is we've got analog products in a DSP, we have digital products in a DSP, and then we have software. And we're one of the few companies, or I might be so bold to say the only company in the 12-volt world that I'm aware of, and I'm not aware of everything, so I could be wrong, but we have all three of those guys in our engineering lab. So when we're designing a product and the digital guy goes, hey, software dude, can you make this thing do this? Software dude goes, yeah. We don't have to do a report, send it to our subletting company that does the software, wait, get it back. No, that's not what we wanted. This is all real time. And that's probably the biggest function internally in our company, is that we have the brain trust of each and every one of our products, all built in Germany, all in-house, from design, conception, design, manufacturing, and all the software stuff that goes with it. So that's really the difference to us. And we're ISO certified factory, so we do a lot of OEM product building there, so we have certain standards of how our products are built, and we could go on for about ISO forever, but I won't do that because I've got 9 minutes and 56 seconds left.
Well, listen, I think what you've done is you've set the foundation for what the brand is all about. All in-house, all in Germany, top to bottom, all the brands within the brand, right? But we're on a DSP episode, okay? So yes. In your professional opinion, how would you explain DSP to a potential client? Because that's what I'm trying to get at tonight. After I'm done with all five guests, I want to be able to say that we did our job as CMA and explain DSP, especially to those who don't totally grasp it yet.
So DSP, and I think that's what a lot of people still miss, both end-use consumers and some retailers as well, some of our retail partners, is exactly what DSP is required for. And we get a lot of confusion between the integration of products in a car to the factory system and tuning, making the product. So if we take speaker A with amplifier B and we put them into a Sprinter, that's a lot different acoustical environment than it would be in a Lamborghini Huracan. So talking before the show started with Sheldon, your behind-the-scenes producer, he's into pro audio sound and big stadiums and stuff, and he's absolutely right. DSP is the, and let's stop being technical for a second. DSP is what we need to make sure that speaker and that amplifier put into every different acoustic footprint of an automobile out there, just like a touring band would go from this stadium to this stadium to this stadium, and they have the big-bellied, long-haired beard guy that sits behind the board, and Sheldon may look like that. I've never seen Sheldon, so...
he totally doesn't look like that.
Think of a ZZ Top guy. He's behind the board,
right,
making that band's signature sound the same, no matter whether in an open air environment in Montreal or in the stadium in Vancouver or in an amphitheater in Phoenix. All of that is important because all those venues sound different. So how does the band sound the same in a venue that has different acoustics? And that's what DSP is. It's not an integration device. It's not let's be realistic. How can we get somebody excited about selling this box at $700 to $2,500 when we just talked to him about a black box with 96K 24-bit capability and digital input and 4 in, 6 out and blah, 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 ADEP and SFX? Does that really matter to the end user? And how can you present that easily as a dealer to your consumer? So basically, think of a live concert, think of that big mixing board, think of the big bearded fat belly guy. That's you. You're the big bearded fat guy, and we want to make it simple for you to set up the car so that product sounds the same no matter whether it's in a Sprinter or in an Huracan, and do it very quickly and repetitively for you.
Well, that, you're saying key words that make sense to shop owners and installers and technicians. So what kind of, are there features that really stand out? Because I do hear the feedback from a couple installers who have used the product that there's some key features that come with the Audio Tech Fisher product that really help that process along.
Yeah, all the new cars that we're dealing with, and we're going to get into the real words of the industry, such as upmixing and such as all-pass filters, phase EQ, that kind of stuff. Basically, our products have the ability, when you connect to the factory OEM system, to allow you to measure and see exactly what you're dealing with. So we have an RTA built in, but we also have an input signal analyzer. So we can analyze the factory audio signal and tell whether that factory audio system has time alignment, whether it has an all-pass filter, whether it is upmixed. All that can be looked at and measured all very, very simply. No extra equipment or anything required because it's all built into our product. So that's on the input side. And then on the output side, we've got a full RTA, and we automatically set up an EQ. So for those of you who are new to this side of life, we can, there's a built-in house curve. So going back to that signature sound of that band, a touring band has a sound that they want to achieve in every venue. So you can go into our software and create that frequency balance or the tonal balance that you want, and using a microphone that we can provide to you that plugs into the computer and talks to our software, we can measure the sound of the car and then automatically set the EQ to achieve that house curve, the sound that you want to achieve. And that can be accomplished. We were just doing demos with the guys at Sound Obsessions in Lloydminster today. That can be, we can EQ a car to an 80 percentile efficiency in about 60 seconds. And that's what we were demoing today. So that's some of the feature sets that are in our products. So don't be scared of what you don't know. We want you to get this box when you get a DSP product of ours, take it home, set it up on a set of home speakers, and play around with it. Get your fingers and feet wet to what you really want to achieve in the car, because that's what we're all about. It's as simple as you want to be or as complicated as you want to be for the gurus out there.
So what about the software though? So there's some key features that help you along the way, like the house curve and everything you mentioned. What is the software? Is it a proprietary Audio-Tech Fisher software that you need to program these devices?
Yes. Yeah. So as I mentioned, in the facility, and we got to take pictures of this and give them to our dealers. So digital engineering guy here, and right across the hallway from him, not hallway, but in the same office, next desk, is the software guy. And he's writing the software to talk to the products that we're building. And the software is all proprietary to us. We are proud to say that it's one software, one workflow for all of our products, for all of our DSP, standalone DSP, our DSP amplifiers, for at least the last 10 years. So you don't have to remember now
Larry,
which product was I using. Yeah.
So you're saying for Helix, for Brax, it's the same software to program all of them.
Same software. Yeah. As soon as you connect your computer, it knows what it's plugged into. It populates the feature sets, which in most of our products are the same as well. And now, bam, you're off and ready to go to the races. And you got a guy come in with a 7-year-old Helix processor. You don't go, oh man, what version of software was that now? Do we even have that around? Do I have the drivers for that? No, you just plug it in to the same software that you're using today. And if you go on to our website at audiotechfisher.com, audiotech-fisher.com, and download our software, you'll see a list of product, because when you launch the software, it'll say pick the product that you want to connect to. You pick it and hit the go button, and it will simulate all the things that you can do with it. So that's the bottom line, is it's simple to use. You don't have to be a rocket scientist every time you want to get in. If it's beer o'clock on Friday and you got to deliver the car and you got to tune it yet, there's not a problem doing that.
I want to add a little 2 cents here, and that is, should you have a question, there is a really clever character over there at MSC. His name is Chris Van Rijs. I'm going to give him a shout out. That could definitely walk you through any of these processes. I mean, extraordinary trainer. And I can see you're very passionate about making it easy and trying to get people involved and getting technicians to not be scared of DSP. So Larry, what message do you have to dealers right now about DSP? What do you have for them to get them to try it, to get them to get into it, whether it's your brand or others?
I just want you to understand that everything you're putting in the car today, we're talking about a radio, 5-channel amp, 4 speakers with subwoofer. That's a pretty common car audio system. And that was one of the demos we were doing today, is if we take out the equalization and we take out the time alignment and we take out all of our SFX audio, proprietary audio algorithms we have, this is what you normally put in a car, right? 5-channel amp, 4 speakers with subwoofer. Yeah. Okay, so here's our systems by MSC F-150, all dialed in and tuned, and it's like, wow. And then, but we're going to take all this stuff away, and we're going to let you hear a 5-channel amplifier with subwoofer normally put in, and it's like, whoa, what just happened? And then we took the microphone and we waved it around for 60 seconds, and boom, the truck sounds the next level up. So if I could say anything to anyone about DSP technology with us, is don't be afraid to get it in the car and try it. We have ways in our support system that if you have a trouble, Chris's cell phone's on, my cell phone's on, Jason's cell phone's on, Matt's cell phone's on, call us. If it's Saturday and you're in a bind, call us. That's why we're here, to make it happen for you. You want to make sure you're comfortable with the product, and once you've done 3 or 4 of them, it becomes second nature for you. And it makes a demonstrable difference to every car that you deliver to your customer. You now have the signature sound of Camrose AVU or Bob's Audio Video in Timmins, Ontario, or wherever you're from. You become the expert in what you're doing. Your store becomes the reference on tuning. Just like there's record producers that are known to have that signature sound that everybody wants to buy, and that touring band guy, the guy that does the mixing, man, on my concert tour, I want that guy. Now with car audio, it's like, no, that store knows what they're doing. Every car they deliver sounds like a live concert. I want in. So that's the important part to us. And we got lots of support mechanism, displays, and things that help you present our technology right up, because I got to just show this, because this is our favorite little beast here, 12 channels of power with 14 channels of built-in DSP all in one chassis. So we just got 50 into our retail store 2021 with the B&O Unleashed system, 16 active channels of audio. 16.
Wow. Yeah.
So that F-150 today, when they redo the plumb in 4 years, that's going to be a used truck. So if you guys don't get involved in this now and understand what's going on with it now and let us help you with that process, it's going to be a real complicated situation for you as you lag on with it.
It's not a concern, Larry, because MSC is there to save the day. So again, to repeat, if you guys are interested in Audio Tech Fisher products, make sure you get a hold of Larry and his team over at MSC America. They're the distributor for North America. They know what they're doing. Lots of great products, whether multi-channel amplifiers, standalone DSPs, you name it. Go check out the website, like Larry said. Larry, thank you so much for being on with the show.
Take care, guys.
DSP Quest.
All right, man. Take care, guys.
Larry Penn from MSC and all the Audio Tech Fisher brands. All right, let's not waste any time. We've got so many guests and so many great, knowledgeable guests that are on that I want to pick every single one of their brains. Next up is again a veteran in the sport of car audio. If car audio could be a sport, he is the national trainer for Moscone, and you know him as Nick Wingate, all the way from Texas. How's it going, Nick? Can you hear us, Nick? I want to make sure I hear audio because I'm... There you go. I think I hear you now. How you doing tonight? Oh, having a hard time with your audio. Can you make sure that that's on? Oh. Let's see if we can get that fixed quickly because I definitely obviously want to hear what Nick has to say.
Hey.
Okay, I think we got you. Oh, you had it for a second, Nick. Whatever you just did, do it again. Is it spacebar? Try the spacebar. No? Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Nick, we're going to get you in the studio and get you all set up. And in the meantime, we can actually go to our next guest because our next guest was actually on the road. They did everything we could to try to get him into the studio tonight, but with the traveling loosening up, and of course these are trainers, so they got to do their job. They've been traveling all around, so we're going to get Nick all fixed up. We'll get him back so that we can hear everything he has to say with Moscone. But for now, I think we're going to go to Hertz Audio. So Hertz Audio, as you know, is represented by Ken Ward, legendary trainer Ken Ward, who recently announced that he is now full-time. He's taken on a full-time position with Electromedia, which of course is Hertz Audio and Audison. But tonight we're going to focus on Hertz Audio, and I had the chance to sit down with Ken and make some. He actually made the time to sit down with us to do a pre-recorded session because when we talked about the show, he was pretty interested in coming in with a different perspective of DSP. He said, Ben, DSP, they've got some great brands on tonight. I wanted to bring something a little bit different, he said, and maybe it has nothing to do with car at all. And I said, nothing to do with car and DSP, you have me intrigued. Well, let's roll the tape and see what happened when I sat down with Ken Ward from Hertz Audio. When we thought about doing a DSP show here on CMA Live, we wanted to seek out the foremost experts in the category. And our next guest, of course, is no stranger to the segment. And that is, of course, we're talking about Ken Ward, who I might say is now a permanent fixture at the Electromedia camp. So, Ken, can't thank you enough for making the time. I know you're having a busy schedule. You're on the road doing what you do best, which is train. Thank you for making the time to come on to CMA Live.
Well, thanks for inviting me. It's great to be back. And yeah, we're going to talk about a marine DSP. And whether you're talking about a boat or you're talking about a car, I've started to think about DSP as fundamentally doing one big thing. And that one big thing is cancellation management. And that's not a phrase that you're going to read in the owner's manual for any of these DSPs that you guys are talking about. But as soon as you have speakers that are different distances from the listener, you've got a problem with them potentially canceling each other out anytime the two speakers play the same notes. Could be left speakers and right speakers. It could be front speakers and rear speakers. It could be a speaker on the high end of a two-way crossover and on the low end of a two-way crossover. Anytime you have two speakers playing the same note, that cancellation is possible. Now, you know why we have more than one speaker playing the same note? Because we need it louder. If we just had one speaker playing everything, it wouldn't get loud enough to hear over the road noise or the boat noise or the wind or any of the things that we have to deal with in mobile audio. So we have tweeters and woofers and mid-ranges, and we have left and right speakers, and we have front and rear speakers. Now in a car, the left and right speakers are set up for stereo. And when we use a DSP, we can get left and right speakers working together to create this beautiful, wonderful stereo illusion that we audiophiles love. But when someone is on a speedboat out for the afternoon on the lake, they're probably not an audiophile. They are probably rocking out. And they're probably not trying to create this beautiful stereo illusion that myself and many of my colleagues prize so highly. And that's okay. The thing is, a lot of the stereo illusion that gets ruined in cars comes from the cancellations. But those cancellations also limit the volume. So if you use the same tools that we use in car DSP in a boat, the very first thing that happens is that you get more output that you already paid for. Because as we know, if you put speakers in a boat and they interfere with each other and you lose 3 dB of output at some frequency, that's losing half the power that you paid for. And if you get 3 dB out of the DSP tuning, that's twice the power you were getting before. So that's something that I will talk about in this new HMD8 amplifier. The folks at Electromedia, they've obviously built many DSP powered devices. And there's a family look and there's a family feel. And this was the first marine DSP product. There aren't that many out there. This was the first Electromedia marine DSP product. And so they kind of started with a clean sheet of paper. They asked the question, what is the DSP going to be used for? Where will it create its value? And how will the technician use it? And how can we make the technician's life easier? And I don't want to get into a tutorial sort of thing, but some of the elements that have been incorporated into using this software, and there's always the question, like no one wants to be the guy that introduced new Coke, right? You've got Audison and Hertz selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of DSPs to all parts of the world, and the software has a family look and feel. To make changes to that, we don't want to make the customers uncomfortable that are used to a certain expectation. So how do we minimize that? How do we help a customer see something that's new and different and not be surprised in a unhappy way? So one of the things that they did was they incorporated a couple of concepts from software development that we haven't seen used too often with mobile DSP, whether it's for a boat or a car. Some basic things like a tooltip where you take the cursor and you hover over an element of the UI if you don't know what it is, and the label pops up to let you know what it is. Each group of functions in the UI, the crossover setting, the equalization, the mixer, they have a question mark help icon in the corner. And you can click on that and it will open up the help file that will guide you through what's up with that particular part of the software.
I have to ask, it's very interesting that coming onto this DSP show that we're focusing on a DSP, which was conceived for the marine environment. But the DSP unit itself, is this thing just like a car DSP that is branded marine? Like, what are the differences here physically?
Well, the amplifier DSP processor was based on equipment that has been validated in the automotive environment. The temperatures that you have to work in are similar. The biggest difference is the exposure to the elements. And so the core silicon parts are the same validated pieces that are used in other ongoing products. The certifications to make it marine stable were carried out on top of that. So like the salt fog certification and the water jet, I think it's IP64 for water jet penetration. Those are something that were done after everything was put together. Now, a couple of other things that were thought about for setting this up. One I thought was kind of interesting. If you are going out to install in a boat, a lot of times the boat isn't in your shop. You are at the marina. The technician takes the equipment and the tools and goes to where the boat is. So there is a real-time analyzer function built into the software, and you just have to plug in your USB microphone into your laptop, and it will use your USB microphone, and it works really well. Though that's one less thing you have to take with you on the trip. But going back to cancellation management for a moment, in cars, a lot of us are used to, our biggest cancellation management tool is delay. And with Electromedia DSP, with like the Hertz H8 DSP, you enter in the distances to each of the speakers, and the delay is calculated for you. And that's cool, but it works for the driver and for nobody else. That is available to you with this device, and it's available for you in multiple zones. So you can have a zone that's for the forward deck, and you can have a zone that's for the cockpit, and then you can have a group within the zone, while you could have the tower speakers in a group compared to the speakers that are down low in the bulkhead. And you can equalize those differently, but you can equalize them together within the group. The tool that is in this device, and it was recently improved on in the Virtuoso from Audison, is an all-pass filter. And the best way to think of all-pass filters is that they are phase equalization instead of amplitude equalization. And amplitude is making something louder or quieter. So if you're trying to avoid phase cancellations, it's a cool thing to be able to equalize the phase. And that's what's in here.
That is amazing, Ken. But one thing I think we should do a job in clarifying, this specific unit is a DSP processor integrated into an amplifier. This is an all-in-one, is it not?
It is, well, almost, yes. It is an 8-channel amplifier that is 85 watts RMS into 4 ohms. And it is, it's 130 watts RMS per channel into 2 ohms, and you can bridge it. So one mode that I've seen used in the marine world is use it as an 85 by 4 amp for front and rear coaxials in the bulkhead, and then bridge 4 channels to 2 and have 260 watts available for a pair of tower speakers, the 8-inch tower speakers up on the overhead. And then the DSP, like some other DSPs, has a 9th channel that comes out and feeds signal to a companion subwoofer amplifier. The subwoofer amplifier is 800 watts if you have a 2 ohm load, and it is 1,000 watts if you have a 1 ohm load, and that's RMS. So you can have a 1 ohm subwoofer load, and you can have bridge this amplifier, and you can have over 2,000 watts in 2 hardback book sized modules.
That is very impressive, Ken. And even marine audio, I don't think we talk about enough of how marine audio has evolved so much of late. We're at a point where we're talking about DSP for marine situations, and we're talking about lots of different channels for different zone control. So I'd like you to speak a little bit about the thought process behind designing this amplifier with all the different channels that it offers.
Well, Hertz has some source units available for marine, and there are obviously some other source units also available for marine with multiple zone outputs. And if you have a speedboat, if you have and I'm not a boating guy, so I may use the wrong terms here, so don't send me hate mail, guys. But if you have a forward deck with speakers, you may control those differently than you would the cockpit speakers or the tower speakers. The tower speakers are often for whoever is skiing behind the boat. And being able to control all those independently is something that a lot of marine head units are apparently trying to do. So you can pass these through, and that's something that is different for the marine amplifier that is worth knowing. When you're setting up a car system, you kind of know that you have front and rear speakers, but it isn't that simple in a boat. So what we've done is we allow you to take any of the 6 inputs and assign them to any of the 8 outputs, including multiple outputs. And you can define them with zones so that you can fade through your head unit or use the zone control in your head unit, and that control is supported all the way through our amplifier DSP.
Very, very, very intriguing and innovative, might I say. So to sum up here, Hertz Audio has come up with a multi-channel DSP built in, but a brand new DSP that's unlike the car, built purpose specific for the marine environment. What message would you have for dealers who are heavy into marine and haven't, dabbled, because it is relatively new, dabbled into the world of adding the DSP element to their builds? I'd like to hear what advice you have for them.
My advice would be give it a try, because I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I know guys who, when DSP came along for cars, there were people that said, I can make cars sound better. I want to do that. And there were people that said, this sounds complicated. I want to avoid it. And a lot of those people are now doing really well with marine and maybe motorcycle installations, where there aren't the same expectations of sound quality, and so there's a little bit less complexity. But it's still sound, there's still cancellations, and you can still use these tools to deliver better and louder results to your marine customer.
Ken, I can't thank you enough for sharing this intriguing information with us. I wasn't sure when you were coming on what angle you can take, because I know that if I booked you for 3 hours to talk about DSP, you absolutely could do that. So do appreciate your insight on it. Any last message you have, or maybe a hint of what's coming down the pipe for Hertz Audio in the DSP realm?
I know that some of the concepts that you see here are too good to only use once. That's probably the best way I could say that. So I'm excited about this amplifier. I want to go tune some boats, quite frankly. And I hope that the dealers will let me know their experiences and let me know how that worked out for them. But I really want to thank you guys for having me, and I hope everybody enjoys the show.
And that, of course, was Ken Ward, the International Technical Marketing Manager for Electromedia, which is, of course, Hertz Audio. And real cool takeaway from that, DSP goes beyond just the car, now into marine. So let's think about where that's going now. Multiple different scenarios for DSP moving forward. Of course, if you're interested in finding out more, becoming a dealer for Hertz Audio in Canada, you want to reach out to Auto Mobility in Montreal. They're a Canadian distributor. All right, we're going to bring back a guest I was trying to get on and excited. I think he's got everything worked out. And that, of course, again, is the national trainer for Moscone, Nick Wingate. Let's go ahead and get Nick back on, because I do want to talk to Nick. Nick, you still with us, buddy?
How are you, sir? Yeah, I'm still there.
Very well. I'm very happy to get it all sorted out, and you're going to be able to talk to us tonight?
I hope this holds up.
I'm sure it will. So Moscone, obviously you are their national trainer. Every single day you're doing these webinars and you're teaching people, how to properly tune their cars, how to set up their equipment. Moscone has a rich history with DSP. Why don't we start with what's new? How about that? What is new with Moscone and multi-channel DSP amps? Because I think that's what people really want to hear about.
Yeah, they've recently brought out a series of amplifiers and DSP processors that have basically they've summed them together, to coin a phrase. The big one that I really am, there's a number of them, but the one that I'm really excited about is called the Pico 8 to 10 DSP. An 8-channel amplifier with a 10-channel DSP processor built into it. Very flexible, very powerful, pretty amazing in the power that this thing brings. The ability for you to use it as a standalone amplifier with a DSP processor. If you have an aftermarket head unit you want to use and you want to use deck and 4 in the sub, hey, great, you've got one amplifier that'll fill the bill. If you want to integrate it into a system, you can do that. It's able to take high-level input, low-level input, you name it, it can do it. It also is going to have some really, really cool features specifically for this amplifier DSP, for the Pico 608 DSP as well. Moscone and Gladen Audio have been working together for the last year to actually start building harnesses that will plug directly into a automobile's aftermarket amplifier on the output side, and then it will plug directly into one of these processors, and you're going to be able to download the fix for that particular car directly from them, to where you're basically almost done. Then it's just a matter of tuning the car by ear. It's going to have all the time alignment, crossovers, EQ, everything will be done to where all you literally have to do is plug and play. And I know that's become a cheap term, but it's the God's honest truth. This really is. It's really, really cool.
It would appear that the trend that I'm starting to see is small footprint, powerful, DSP integrated multi-channel amplifiers. That seems to be like the hot ticket item these days. It's what these modern systems are demanding. So what features do these Pico amplifiers have? Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on these features that really make them unique.
Well, you're going to have the ability to run digital inputs, digital outputs. You can use the amplifiers by themselves. They'll have analog outputs on them, to where if you need another amplifier for either rear channels, you want to add a sub amplifier into it that's more powerful than what's internally on the amp itself, you can do that. You're going to be able to go in and use what is known as the disc measuring system, which gives you the ability to take what is coming off of the factory amplifier, and you're going to be able to identify exactly what is coming off of it. For instance, if it has an all-pass filter built into one of the channels, or 2 of the channels, or 3 of the channels, it'll show you. It will show you the frequency. It will show you if it's a first order, if it's a second order. It will also show you how much channel delay is built into each one. And it will literally show you how much delay is built into it. And, as we all know, and Larry was exactly right. When you're talking about the number of channels that we're all going to have to start worrying about, that 16 channel that is in his Ford. I've got 19 in my Dodge truck. The brand new Escalade has 32 channels in it.
Wow.
If we all don't start
Crazy.
How about that one? 30 freaking channels. Do I want to tune that car? No, I do not. Somebody's going to pay me a lot of money. But if we don't start tackling these now and understanding now how to do this, where are you going to be in 4 years when that used car shows up at your dealership and somebody wants a system? You better understand how to use these things. You better understand the multi-channels, how to use the all-pass filters, how to use the up-mixing. Because this is something, we all realize, every manufacturer realizes this is where the industry went. It's where OEM went. And we have to be able to use what OEM has given us.
And you seem to be representing a brand that's coming to the table with a lot of tools for these scenarios. And so I want to circle back. You touched on these harnesses, the kits.
Yes.
Which vehicles can we expect them to work with?
Right now, there's Tesla, which is way cool. They've got every Tesla with the exception of one right now, and they should be through with that very shortly. You can see the 8-10 DSP, the Pico 1, the 6-8. You can see the picture of the harnesses at the bottom. That's just one of a few. That's actually the Tesla harnesses. They're working. They're continuously upgrading. They've got a number of the BMW products, the Mercedes products. They're working diligently on the Volkswagen, auto group, which means Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen. And they've been talking to me a little bit about my Dodge truck. About actually working on my Dodge truck, and because they know how big the truck SUV market here is in the United States. I think it will help a huge segment of our industry that, as much as we would all like everybody to be able to tune like me and Fred and Larry and Mr. Bennett, sometimes it's not possible to take the kind of time that we all would like to take. Because, hey, let's face it, customers are in a hurry and time is money. But when you have the ability to plug these things directly into the factory wiring harness off of the factory amplifier, plug directly into these things, download all the information that's there directly into it, your life just got way easier. And then you can go and fine tune the car for the customer. I can't think of a better way of doing it.
Yeah, it certainly sounds efficient and user-friendly, and that is the spirit of what we're trying to do here tonight on this show. Nick, as you know, we talked about it before. We're trying to get people inspired to not be intimidated, right? And this new Pico system seems like it's answering, those needs and opening doors and giving people like that opportunities. I should mention, of course, in Canada, if you're interested in Moscone product, you want to talk to the good folks at Trends Electronics, the distributor for Moscone. But when it comes to the DSPs, let's talk about the software or the GUI. Does these, the ones that you use for aerospace and that lineup, does that also work, or is this a new thing I have to learn all over again for Pico? Like, what's the deal there?
No, not at all, Ben. It's using the same software, whether it's the Atomo 4-6 DSP, which is the entry level product, up to the aerospace 8-12, including all the Pico DSP products. They all use this proprietary software. And what you're looking at right here, right now, this is just a sample of the measuring system that's built into it. You have the ability to actually use this unit, what you're looking at on these two screens. You've got a built-in RTA, you've got a built-in sine wave generator, you've got a pink noise generator, you've got a white noise generator. You've got this all built into the unit. And all you have to do on the output stages is run it, and it'll show you exactly what you need to know. It'll give you the frequency response of the car. It'll show you where your problems are. On the input side, and the same thing. If you use it as an external source, like a head unit, and you want to plug your phone into it and run a sine sweep, you can, and it will show you exactly where each individual output channel frequency response off of the factory amp. It'll show you exactly what it has. You also have the ability to go in, if you choose to do so, is to actually do a time alignment scenario where you can put a microphone in the car and it'll show you exactly how. It's not going to be exactly on the nose. It's going to be close. So if you want to get in there and fine tune it, it'll show you the delays that it's measuring, and you can send them to the unit and it will store it. And then, I always say this, look, there's the microphone works to a certain extent, but our hearing is the best test instrument known to man. Use your hearing. It's the best way to do it, and whether it's EQ, crossover, time alignment, it'll do a lot of that. But, the bottom line is use your hearing on top of all the things. I mean, God gave us the greatest instrument in the world as far as being able to hear, and it's our hearing. It's our ears, So it's a great tool to have. It's going to get you really, really close, and then you can take your hearing, use your hearing, and take it the rest of the way.
And what I hear here is, if I get the training one time, I don't need to relearn it for every series of amplifiers that are in the lineup. It's the same interface.
No.
It's the same GUI for the entire thing. It's the same platform.
Yes, it is the same platform. And as they go further out building new product, this GUI is going to be the benchmark for all of it. It's not going to change anytime soon. There'll be more added to it. Yes, there's more coming. But, this is it. And, it's proprietary to them. They are the ones that designed it. They're the ones who use it. They are designing it. They're designing more for it right now, this minute, as I speak. I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I have you here with me live, and I'm going to lean on you a little bit for some wisdom. You've got to play with a lot of different brands, and you're the first to admit and tell me, Ben, there's a lot of great DSP products out there. But I want to hear from your mouth, having played with the Moscone gear and these great DSP amplifiers, what are the standout features that you want dealers to know about if they're considering looking at taking on Moscone as their DSP solution?
Well, it's the ease of use. It's also how powerful the DSP is, as far as and again, it's the GUI. The ability for you to go in and solve problems. That's the beauty of this. It gives you numerous filter types that you can go in and build. You can build a 6 dB proactive slope all the way to a 60 dB proactive slope and anything in between. You've got different types. You've got Linkwitz Raleigh. You can use bezel. You can use Butterworth. You can build Chebychevs. You can build your own if you understand how to use the variable Q. And for more of that, you can call me and I'll be glad to talk you through it. But please don't do it unless you understand what you're doing. You've got different, you've got the ability to where if you've got one of the Hyundais that has 8 all-pass filters built into it, you have the ability with these units that you can go in and correct for all 8 of those all-pass filters that's in that stinking car. It's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. But hey, what do I know? I ain't the engineer.
You don't make cars, man.
Exactly. I didn't say that, but the audio systems, I'm like, why are you doing that? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But anyway, I can go on. The flexibility on the input side, that's a huge part of this. And then on the output side, it's the same thing. You've got so much flexibility and the ability to go in and correct whatever you need to correct for. If you've got a panel resonance, build a notch filter. It'll kill and once you identify the panel resonance frequency, build a notch filter, you can kill it. If you've got a rise in the system in the frequency response, let's say you've got it from 300 Hertz to about 1,000 dB rise, you can take a shelf and you can lower that down. You can build a shelf filter and you can turn it down without affecting phase. There's so much, Ben. I could spend the next hour on it, but we ain't got that kind of time.
I think the takeaway here is you're really positive and really enthusiastic about how flexible that system is, and you can go as deep as you want to go. And for those that want to go that deep, man, this is for you. But it could be as easy as you want it to be as well.
Exactly. It's an either-or product, and it really and truly anybody can use it. Yeah.
All right. And if you do have a problem with this, go ahead.
I want to say this, Larry. There's something Larry's right. This is my 8-12 aerospace. This is what I actually have in my home theater. I pulled it out just to show you. Take this home and play with them. You're not going to blow something up. Trust me, not unless you go plus 12 dB on the sliders, and then I don't want to talk to you. But go home and use these things. That's the only way you're going to learn is go just jump in with both feet and go figure it out. Because, if you don't use these things, if you don't figure them out, you're never going to get comfortable with them. And they are not going to be part of your sales staff's presentation when they're trying to make sure the cars sound good. Because if the install staff can't tune it and they don't have any confidence in it, then why in the heck are anybody going to sell it? So, yeah.
That's it.
I can't reiterate that enough. Yeah.
Very well. Nick, thank you so much for taking the time all the way from Texas. Guys, if you're interested in Moscone products, you get a great trainer that goes with that. He's on the screen right now, Mr. Nick Wingate. Make sure you contact Trends Electronics in Canada. Trends Electronics.
Yeah,
have a good night, Nick. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, everybody. Thanks, Ben.
Take care. All right, we got one more to go, and I mean, Nick brings a lot of wisdom. He's been in the competition scene, and yeah, as you can hear, for those of you who basically didn't decipher anything he said, well, those are all terms that you can learn one piece at a time, you know. And our next guest is obviously can speak the same language as Nick. In fact, sometimes one day I'll probably hear them chit-chatting, and I might not understand a word they're saying because they're so deep into it. But luckily for us, he also speaks English, and his name is Fred Lynch, representing Arc Audio, no stranger to the DSP game either. Fred, will you be speaking English with us this evening, or are you going to speak whatever Nick kind of got into in the end there?
You know what, for you guys, I'll speak English, but yeah, Nick and I do have a lot of very interesting conversations when it comes to this.
One day we're going to do just a live of just listening in on your guys' conversation and just, you know, be in amazement and try to understand.
Yeah, and I think the only thing you're going to get associated with that is the word Zoom as it flies right over people's heads. So.
That's pretty much it. Fred, obviously Arc Audio, distributed in Canada by Importel. You guys have had a pretty good relationship for the last bit, and I know they're doing really well with it. And I can see that you are not broadcasting from your usual location.
Nope, we are out and about traveling around doing exactly what we're talking about, and that is we're out spreading the love, teaching about DSPs and working with our dealers to not only teach them how to get these things in the vehicles, but most importantly, how to make the car sound good as well too. And with an educational standpoint to where they learn from it, they learn process, and when mechanical systems do fail, they have the ability to use their ears, which is something Nick was just talking about, and be able to hear when it's not right and know how to fix it when those mechanical and engineered devices don't work.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's great to see that you're out there doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and good to see that that's underway. You know, every brand has had the opportunity to kind of talk to our audience a little bit about why they feel, you know, what makes their product stand out, and I want to give you that same opportunity when it comes to ARC and the DSP lane. You know, what are some of the things that really make it stand out for you that you want our audience to know about?
Well, you know, one thing about Arc Audio is, and I do want to clarify a little bit from one of the previous presenters, we are one of those companies that does 100% of our own engineering, 100% of our own manufacturing, and 100% of our own design when it comes to DSPs. This is something that we've been dealing with now since about 2002, and, you know, we've actually, instead of growing the line, we've actually simplified the line, but increased the flexibility of the product. That way our dealers can minimize the amount of inventory that they have to hold and be able to give them the tools and resources through a single software platform that we are now incorporating into all of our current products. So that way, you know, just like everybody else is saying, they don't need to relearn software between different products. And the software is scalable depending on the product that you're plugging it into. But most importantly, like I said before, we're here to make sure that we give the tools not only to give them the resources to create better sound and better music in a vehicle, we also want to make sure that we deliver them a product that's easy to learn and gives them the ability to educate themselves, their customers, as far as what good music is, and knowing how to get around those obstacles that sometimes the engineered or predefined devices can't actually repair, and it takes experience. Nick said it right on the money, and that is, at the end of the day, these things, they do take practice, and you do have to get in there. Don't be afraid of them. They are a great, great tool that offers a lot of flexibility and a lot of resources, and it's about making music, and that's what we're here for. So at the end of the day, get these things into a vehicle, get them on a bench.
I say the word solutions a lot because, yeah, in a way, these DSP amplifiers and DSPs in general offer a solution to a problem. But they also, you know, create an amazing experience for the end user. You know, a lot of times we talk about, and here's a couple platforms that are on the screen so you guys can get a visual for this. But I want, before we even get into that, you know, I hear the term invisible electronics. I want you to expand on that for me, please.
You know, invisible electronics is a term that some people scratch their head on. But the thing is, there's a lot of electronics out there that sometimes add color to sound or they move the sound. Robert Zeff, who's our lead engineer, he's used the term that, like an amplifier, if an amplifier is built right, it should be nothing other than a piece of wire with gain. You shouldn't be hearing the effects of the components in the electronics. The DSP world is no different than that. And that's one of the things about the Arc Audio DSPs is that we design them to be transparent. So you are actually getting the best, cleanest, and purest sound possible without having effects other than what you are intending to change within the DSP environment. But you should be hearing effects of things like capacitors and resistors and power supplies and things like that. And that's something that is very unique to the ARC product. And honestly, we can sit here and talk about it, but like we tell everybody, plug it in and listen to it and let your ears be the judge for that. And many do.
So do you agree with Nick when he said your ears are really, at the end of the day, the final tool that you need to really dial it in?
Well, you know what? Having resources and all the tools that everybody's providing in DSPs is critical, but using your ears at the end of the day and knowing what not only music is supposed to sound like, but knowing what you as the listener or your customer likes. The reality of the fact is you and I listen to music one way, but the customers, the people who have to drive in these vehicles every single day, they're the ones that have to listen to this. It's our job to use this, give the resources and the availabilities and tools to sell, well, that black box, but to make sure that we're dialing those systems into what the customer wants, likes, and listens to. So that way, when they do spend $700 to $2,000 plus on a DSP, they're getting their value for it.
No, 100%. Now, you mentioned in the very beginning that you actually had a wider lineup, an offering, and then you've kind of simplified things, as you said. So let's talk a little bit about what the offering is right now as far as DSP platforms or amplifiers. What is the breakout right now?
So, we have actually had multiple different levels of product over the years, and now we've actually simplified it down to a single platform called the Pro Series DSP platform, which currently right now constitutes of our fully ready to go integrated amplifier solution like the PS850, for example. We also have the IPS 8.8, which is a module which is interchangeable on the front end of different amplifiers. So you can actually take that DSP module, drop it into the amplifiers, and create at that point, a plethora of different options, but it's still the same solution. And it's less footprint, it's integrated, there's less cables, there's less connectors, less chance of noise being integrated into a vehicle, but you have all the same DSP power as you do with like the PS850. And you also have the standalone DSP, which is what a lot of us in the industry are used to, which is your standalone DSP solution. But the nice part is those three generalized platforms are expandable across a wide variety of products and allows you to use it for what's going to fit your customer's application the best, as well as also minimizing your total overhead needed to stay up to inventory specs for what you need for your customer base. It's a smarter, simpler business solution, and it gives you all the technology you need, and it's scalable depending on what you're doing with it.
You just mentioned that. I should have probably started with this question because there's an interesting pedigree, shall we say, about ARC Audio and competition. And I'm going to connect the dots here. Like, at what point did ARC Audio say, you know what, let's get into DSP, and how did that roll out?
So when ARC Audio started back in 1998, it started with a group of people who are competitors and people who had a passion for this industry. This is our competition team right here. And this is an example of kind of what drove us into this DSP market, not only from the need, but we also wanted something that was a representation of who we were and where our passion is. We're all competitors. We're all about high-end music. The ability to have the tools and resources in order to create that acoustical experience in a vehicle and giving people the music that they want. Our competition team has been absolutely an intricate part of the development and the overall nature and functionality of our DSP, because we literally, for years, all of us have used so many DSPs on the market, and yes, they've been a great tool, but it was finally we said, what about these other DSPs do we not like in the way they're used, the interface, the tools, the features? What do we need to do in order to continue to represent our company to showcase that we truly are the top company out there as far as an acoustical company and a company that creates high-end products, and that's what we're about. And that competition team, they are our testers. They are part of our research and development team. They are the people out there representing us, and in all reality, they are the people that are showing what's capable with our products.
Okay, so you got your field testers, let's call them, and where you draw your information from, and all that culminates because it's really important for the technician to buy into the whole ARC Audio thing, right? So what would installers, what would technicians take away from this and really be excited about as far as features that the ARC Audio DSPs provide?
Not all competitors are truly, I think I like the term gurus. Some guys are hobbyists, and a lot of them are also self-taught. And I think if there was anything to come out of this, It's to show that the installers can actually take a look and realize that these are everyday people who have put in marginal to amount of time, just like Nick said. You've got to use your ears, you've got to train your ears, you've got to train yourself, get in and use the functions and learn it. If anything shows here, it shows that our product is usable, that our product is something that is learnable. Our product is laid out in such a way to where you learn from it and you learn about working towards that better sound and giving you the tools and resources you need to get it into some of these more advanced vehicles. And that these guys here are a testament to the flexibility of the skill level that is required or not required in order to get into this DSP market, which is huge because there's a lot of dealers, unfortunately, that still are nervous about getting into DSPs. They see them as computers and possibly complex, when in fact, a lot of it's the features that many of us have already been using for years. I mean, how many of us in this industry have already been using crossovers on amplifiers, and how many of us have already been using 7-band or 9-band half-din EQs in the dashboard? Yeah, we've been able to refine things quite a bit, giving you more of the advanced feature options, but you can use as little or as much as you want in today's DSP world. And this isn't the day of 31-band rack EQs where you make an adjustment. Oh my God, I just spent hours and hours and hours, and it's gone to waste. The nice part is computers. It's just like saving files. You save one, you go back, you start over, and you go, what did I do on this one? This one sounds better, and I've learned from it, and it gives you, your ears, the ability to hear what you're seeing and get those processes in place in order to make it better and give you a better solution for your customer. And of course, with training too, which is why I'm out on the road right now.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you're on the road doing. Now, what about OEM integration though? I mean, that's key when it comes to the purpose of DSP. A lot of it has to do with OEM integration, does it not?
Today's vehicles are becoming significantly more complex, and so one of the things that we did is we teamed up with the guys up at iData Maestro, and we have we use the AR solution, which is a plug-and-play solution for our vehicle interface. We use their T harnesses, and there's a lot of great technology behind this because where you can pull the factory amplifier out of a vehicle that doesn't necessarily have full control capabilities, and now you can actually integrate it and you can customize some of the OEM features to work certain ways, like speed sense volume control can be presets. You can readjust your tone controls to be a sub-level control or whatever. The definability options are endless, but then now we have this option here, which is something that's kind of new, and this is just a small picture of we get into books about multi-systems, 8 channel, 16 channel, 24. We have the ability in our processors to be able to have that. You need a 16-channel aftermarket system. You can do that with 2 of our DSPs and link them. You need to do that through iData, no problem. We're going to be releasing the iData AR link cable network with the update from AR that allows you to run 8, 16, anything in increments of 8 and beyond. You can go to those 32-channel Cadillac systems. Yeah, I'll agree with Nick. I don't want to tune it, but we do have the solutions there and in place as we speak right now, to be able to have those multi-channel systems so you can deal with these cars when they start coming in as used vehicles here in the next months or years.
I want to mention that Nick said he would, depending on the money, just for reference. He did say that.
Everybody has a price. I will admit that.
Everybody has a price. Everybody. You know what I would do? I want all of you guys to tune my car one time and come to a that something that everybody agrees on. I'd love to see what that exercise would result in. Okay. Fred, I mean, you seem to have such clear insight and explanation with everything I throw at you when it comes to DSP. So I saved this question for you because I knew you were last, and you're the guy I wanted to ask this question to. I want you to look into the crystal ball based on everything that you've seen that's happened with DSP in the last 3, 5, 10 years. Look ahead now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Where do you see DSP going, and how will it affect us as an industry moving forward?
I think DSPs are just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. It's going to become a necessary element of probably literally every installation that's out there. It's something that dealers should not fear, but should embrace. It's things where education and knowledge to be able to get audio into some of these vehicles is going to become critical. These OEM manufacturers, even much like the ones that we manufacture for, are doing more and more and more to make our lives even more challenging and more difficult. DSPs are going to be the solution of not only today, but of the future as well. And there's across the board, you have a lot of great presenters on tonight. There's a lot of great products that all offer their benefits to it. You have to pick what is right for your shop, and most importantly, you have to pick what is right for your customers. But the most important thing here is you have to pick a solution, because if you don't pick a solution and you don't go out and learn it, you're not doing anything for your customers. You're not doing anything for the people who actually have to put the key in the ignition and drive it every day. And at the end of the day, one badly or poorly tuned and installed DSP represents the whole industry. And at that point, one black box becomes very difficult to sell any other black boxes in the future. DSPs are the way of the world. It is a direct representation of what we have today. And even with the manufacturing world being turned all upside down, inside out right now, with chip manufacturing for products all across the globe right now, this is a reality of what car audio has become. It's a necessary component, and anything from here on out, well, you know what? DSPs are the ticket to tomorrow.
I don't know what else I can add to that. Well said, Mr. Lynch. Hey, listen, if you're interested in ARC Audio product, Importel is who you want to contact in Canada. They've got a great website. You want to check it out and offer a ton of training when it comes to DSP. So just to echo what Fred said, Fred and every other representative tonight have done a tremendous job educating, bringing out the tools, doing the videos, doing the seminars. I mean, they are not sitting back. They are out there actively. All you need to do as a dealer is to connect with them. Try it. Make it happen. Brett, can't thank you enough for taking the time. I know you're busy on the road. I think you're in Texas. Enjoy your trip. Be safe. And we absolutely look forward to having you on once again in the very near future.
As always, Ben, thank you guys.
Take care, Fred. So there you have it. I mean, I guess I started my conclusion there with Fred. Every representative tonight has a very clear message, and that is the technology is there. They've streamlined the offering. The technology is being integrated. There's amplifiers with built-in DSPs. There's standalone DSPs. They do everything literally for you, from telling you exactly what type of signal you're putting into it, and the whole gambit. So I implore you, if you haven't been playing with DSP, get into it. Take Nick's advice. Get one, bring it home, try it. And I'm sure with all the tools and resources that all these brands are putting out there, hey, it's just a question of time. Put the time in, and I'm sure you'll reap the benefits. Part 2, there's going to be a part 2 of this series where we're going to have even more brands on, and I'm pretty excited to get their perspective. Listen, I want to remind everybody to tune into CMA Connected every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. What you're watching now is live, but Connected gives me an opportunity to sit down one-on-one with a single brand every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon for a lunchtime learning session. Now, very exciting. In only 2 short weeks, we have their next episode of CMA Live. It's going to be all about wiring and accessories. It's the first time we're doing that. I love wiring and accessories. I know there's some nuts and fanatics out there that love it too. But we've got some top brands such as Stinger, Wires, Excel Electronics, Metra, and iConnect. They'll be joining us. Stay tuned to our social media. We'll update you on that as we're still 2 weeks out. And that's it. So I want to thank all the guests. I hope you guys got a glimpse of what DSP is all about. Again, we have a second show coming to you later on this year. But, man, pretty happy. And I want to thank all the guests that made the time to join us tonight. You're watching CMA Live, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, we connect.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM, with even more exclusive content, like over 140 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.